Hey Tom, I saw on Facebook you were struggling a little bit with the bridge hammock, so wanted to do a real quick video for you if I could. In the bridge, when you got the bridge, you're going to see these two things came with it. This is for the chair trick, that extra continuous loop, a couple little pieces of shock cord, mitten hooks and prussics, and then this longer guy is called the pick-me-up. These come attached at the head end when you get it. They're already set up on this bridge, so I'll show you real quick how they work, and maybe I'll show you real quick in a minute what they look like close up. All right, but you want one of the small mitten hooks on this end, one of the small mitten hooks on this end, and then the pick-me-up in the center. And I've got a regular length incubator here, which I think works a little bit better than a long, but if you've got a long, that's okay. Now, I'm here in the basement, so I'm just going to set it on the ground. Get on the other side so you can see. I'm going to take this end, and what I've got here is I've got a small loop that I'm going to clip to, but you don't necessarily need that. Come down to the other end and make sure nothing's tangled. Get a little bit of a tangle. I'm going to come and hook it up to the adjustable bridge line. Okay, so see how the bridge itself is coming up and it's already pretty tight. I put this extra 6-inch loop on mine here so that I don't stretch this cord out too much at home. It will stretch all the way out, and you can clip it right into the loop on either end of the adjustable ridge line. But I do suggest, if you've got an extra loop, or use the continuous loop that I sent you, to either hook that on the head end or the foot end so that you're not overstretching anything here. Now, the rest of this is pretty simple. Treat it just like it would be a gathered end. Go ahead and push it in like that. And then here's where the pick-me-up comes in. You can see this has already got a good bit of lift here, but on the incubator, I'll find the center, I'll clip the mitten hook on the quilt itself, okay? On the far side, same thing. We're gonna take that center, clip it on there right about by your butt. Now, what these are for, on this head end, is this is a pick-me-up. This is a little bit like how the triangle thingies work, or Dutch's quilt hooks. But see, I'm just going to take the primary suspension, I'm going to clip it on and use that to pick it up a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to take the primary suspension, clip it through the mitten hook, and what I'll do right now is loosen the secondary completely. As far as the tension on the ends of the underquilts, they don't actually have to be all that tight. They can be relatively loose. So again, if you're not familiar with it, the primary is the one that runs all the way through the heavier shock cord, and the secondary is the one that goes to the adjustment point. So everything's open there, and I've got the ends about midway attached. All right. Now you see, when everything's here, see how it lifts the bridge up? Just like it does with a gathered end hammock. All right, everybody thinks that the bridge should look like it should look when it's by itself. But when you've got a regular gathered or regular underquilt on the bridge, it should come up like this, like a canoe. All right, to get in, same thing. Come right towards the center again, and I'm actually pushing inside the bridge to push the quilt over. Right? Now, you can either move this out of your way, you can shove it this way, you can get in on this side of it if it's easier for you, and lay down. That way you don't have to pick your feet up and tuck them in. I don't mind either way because this is flexible enough. But for some of the bigger guys, it's easier just to sit here, from here to here, and then lay down. All right? Now the underquilt is fitting pretty good, but this little sloppiness here, this is what the pick-me-up is for. So we're going to take that cord lock and pinch it. Now, there's a loop here, so when you're picking up the cord lock, you're pulling the whole thing up. See how my underquilt is coming up now? I'm going to lay down. What I'm going to do is give this a little shake to make sure everything's sealed right. Alright, so the trick is the pick-me-up. The pick-me-up gives you that little bit extra lift you need. And now I slid it a little bit here, so I can feel it touching just on my head and just down by my heels. You can move it down if you prefer. If you use a pillow, slide it around so you're inside of it. But this is free to move on the ridge line, so as you change positions throughout the night, this doesn't get in your way. Now if you need to pop up for the bathroom, you can just loosen one side. It's easier, I think, just to loosen them or push it out of the way than it is to try crawling out and through it. Okay? So this is about all you need, but the two tricks are the pick-me-up in the center and this pick-me-up here. See how this is lifting the underquilt, just like it would be more like a gathered end? You can move that prusik adjustment this way or that way to increase or decrease the tension, depending on where you're at in the bridge, and if you're having any fitting problems. So that's basically the gist of it. You use these on the ends. These function the same way as the triangle thingy. If you slide it closer to the bridge, you get more pickup there. So if you're having a little bit of a hard time sealing a head gap, you could do that. If it's sealing pretty good or it's laying kind of funny, you can pull it further away. Same thing on the foot end, okay? But you can see that this thing is about 12 to 18 inches away from the foot end. And then about 12 inches or so usually works, maybe a little bit more from the head end. But the pick-me-up is really the trick to getting these to work. And really the 3/4 length quilts work the same way, but you might need a longer piece of continuous loop or an extra shock cord for the 3/4 quilt, because they tend to be a little bit shorter on the primary suspension. So you don't want to stretch that out. So see, I'm just using this orange continuous loop here to shorten the ridgeline distance so that it's easier to clip the quilt on there. But you can still see, I've still got a pretty good amount of tension in this system here, and everything is picking up and popping up. So once you've been in it a few times, you'll get used to it, but this will really help you pick up. Now if you're having a problem sealing somewhere else, you can either add another pick-me-up to another spot. If you've got a quilt that doesn't have these on here, you can use the binder clips that you might get from your office. Clip a binder clip on there, and then you can clip the pick-me-up to that, and that'll help you do the job. Okay? Just let me know if you got any more questions. Thank you.